And for the last time today, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the North American ESL Go4GuildWars2 Cup. This is Cup number 14. We're at the Grand Finals now, which, again, is going to be Dodge or Die versus the Abjured. Everyone saw it coming, so we're here, folks. First Cup of the month is the usual matchup. We've got, of course, the Abjured with Nas. Backpack, just as a side note, by the way, will actually be joining the roster this week in the place of Chase, so the comp will remain unchanged, but of course, Backpack being added into the dynamic should be quite interesting to see. And then we have the new roster for Dodge or Die, which has played a very convincing set. 2-1, very close, which I think, again, is a pretty good catalyst for what's going to be happening next Saturday at the WTS North American qualifiers. A pretty good catalyst there, because it's still going to be probably a pretty close matchup, despite the fact that, again, we did see DOD come out of that one. The dankening was still very close, and I think with a couple corrective measures throughout this week, there's a very good chance, actually, that we could also see the dankening press onward from that one. But anyway, let's focus on this matchup now, as we've got Dodge or Die versus the Abjured. This is the matchup that I think a lot of people are looking forward to seeing come for the qualifiers, and maybe even come for the WTS finals itself. So let's once again, folks, head into the game. And of course, everyone knows the Abjured's comp, but for anyone who has forgotten about it, we'll take a look at it very quickly here. Nos running with the standard Terramancer build, 06404, lots of survivability, lots of kind of auto feeders coming out from this build, and overall a lot of dangerous Condi damage getting tossed out into the mix from this build. Magic Toker playing Sword Dagger Thief. We haven't actually seen a Sword Dagger Thief yet today, but of course the Sword Dagger Thief still with that very high DPS, a lot lower than DP, and again, the role is a little bit different here too. It's kind of more of a +1er and coming in, kind of ganking and then moving very quickly between points, going as well for decaps and things like that, but still going to be very useful for this team, as he's going to be mainly the only burst player, in fact the only one that can deal a significant amount of damage in a very small amount of time, mainly due to the RG of these procs, but still the only burst player for this team. Wakey will be playing the same build as Phantom actually, but just as a clarification, it's standard DD Celestial Elementalist. Wakey will be the team fight supporter, whereas Phantom will be the 1 versus 1er. Backpack playing standard rifle. Actually, I should note here too that he's kind of no longer playing the standard, as the standard has somewhat shifted towards pack runes, while Backpack is still going to be running with Hobrecht runes here, so he's still going to be playing the Might Stack. A little bit more damage, I think, from that one, of course, and then moving over the 60044 trait split here, too. And then last but not least, Fanta, still playing the... is he playing Staff, actually? No, he's not. Alright, so at least he's not running with Blasting Staff, so I assume he's not playing Staff. He's got a Staff equipped, so I'm not sure if that's just there because he forgot to swap it or whatever. But anyway, Fanta will be playing the Dagger Celestial Elementalist. Anyway, folks, we're giving our teams the signal to ready up now. So once again, we're going to play the map preview video. Still a best of 3 set here in the Grand Finals. First team to 2 points will be taking home $400, as well as the first place qualifying points for this week as we head into the new month. Second place will be taking home $100 and 2,000 gems per player. And not in this match, granted, but in our other matches too. Let's not forget that our third place team also takes home 800 gems per player. Once again, quick preview of the map, and then we shall get started with our first game here.
Welcome to the Forest of Niflhel. In this Conquest map, players will vie for control of 3 score-generating capture points. Additionally, on each side of the map, there are 2 bosses that grant 25 points and a bonus to all stats to the team that lands the Killing Strike. The first team to 500 points wins.
And we're back in the map here now, folks. Still waiting for some ready-ups from a couple players on the side of DOD. So again, talking about the overall comp differentials here, it's going to be interesting to see. Again, we've got Muffins versus Toker here. Muffins obviously running with a much higher damage coefficient build. And then the other kind of difference between these two comps is the fact that we have Zeus over here playing on his burst. Zeus over here is playing on his... playing on the burst... Elementalist, whereas we would have normally seen this spot being taken by Wakey over here, who is playing the second DD Elementalist, as you still have CMC playing the DD Elementalist here for the boost side, but obviously the second LA spot getting taken up by a burst player. And then, of course, you're going to have the Warrior in place of the Necro, I believe, is kind of the spot that it's filling up there. So, a couple differences here and there between the comps, but overall, at the end of the day, the Abjured is going to be taking the much tankier approach to combat here, while DOD will be taking kind of the more team fight oriented and burstier approach to things here. So Abjurd's got to out-rotate, whereas DOD has to outfight to win. Essentially, is the difference between these two teams. But anyway, coming out of the gate, we're going to see the Abjured's usual split here, sending Phantom to the far point with Magic Toker behind for some support. There is the potential for a gank to come out here right at the beginning of this, as once again here we do have those 2 players from the blue team sitting behind as they kind of surprise out Fanta here. And it looks like they're actually going to try to go for some early kills here, as Fanta's going to group up, I believe, with Magic Toker here in hopes of killing out Zeus and eliminating really all of their DPS here at the start of this game. But as we head over there, once again, Muffins has been forced out an lucky wrench crit, as well as Magic Toker there. I think getting lucky with the FGS will take Muffins into the down state there. They don't know he's down as of yet, though. At least I don't believe they know he's down. So if CMC can be stealthy with this, I think there's a chance they can get him up. OEGS is under pressure. That's not going to happen. And now again that he's popped out of stealth, they are going to see him in the down state. Actually, don't count that just yet. Zeus is going to go over and... Oh, but here comes Fanta now. Fanta spotted this one out. We will see the stealth getting popped out. That's not going to matter, though, as once again, Fanta can just hit off with the auto attacks on Lightning Whip. And it looks like, again, the Muffins is going to have his time wasted as that attempt at a res will fail and overall will give an advantage to the Abjured. Back in mid here, Ostrijegs as well under quite a bit of pressure as Wakey will go for the kill into him. Supported behind him will be Backpack and Na, so they should have enough DPS to take Ostrijegs into the down state. Candace is nearby here too, and he does have a banner ready to go in the event OEGS goes down, but I'm not sure if he's going to use it in this specific situation. Ooh, he is going to try to pop it off there. Not sure if that was 100% warded, though, as again, they were probably going to lose. They're probably still going to lose this fight anyways. I'm not 100% sure if getting OEGS back up and kind of just unleashing him onto the map is the best option. But I mean, as we take a look on the back of it, it actually does seem like it's pretty okay here. As again, Red Team is, what is Red Team doing? I mean, Red Team is just kind of YOLO chasing OEGS around the map at this point, which I'm not sure how efficient that is. And as well, considering the fact that they could have used this as an opportunity to kind of just wipe up the midpoint, I don't know if that was 100% the correct choice to make there. But at the end of the day, we take a look at what's happening in mid, and they're still going to get this locked in onto a Candace. It's just that it took a little bit longer than I would have liked, and we probably could have seen a more swifter cleanup from the Abjured had they just decided to go for mid and not trolled Ostrijegs over towards the side of the map there. Heading over to our last and only big fight that's currently happening here, we do have the Henge fight currently going on. CMC forced off the node there as he proceeds back on. He does have to deal with Magic Toker, a lot of SD there, and SD again very annoying to fight off against as a Dagger Player. Normally you're playing against DP there, it's very easy to take them out as a Dagger Elementalist, but again SD's a little bit harder as you got all that dodge power, and with the procs that can come in there from the sigils, it can screw you up pretty easily if you're not paying attention. But it seems again here that Red Team does have the positional and fighting advantage for the time being here. Zeus, of course, going to try to change up that dynamic as he opens up over onto Fentra, but of course has to be very careful of Magic Toker as he is a very potential dangerous spot for him here too. Zeus, as we go over to him here, he's in a lot of trouble now. Condi locked as he goes into the downstate once again. Backpack 2 coming over there, going to get the kill off onto him. Fantrum, I think, will actually be the one to go for the stomp, which is going to be happening here right now. No one from the blue team to save that. So still seeing the Abjured kind of cleaning up house here at the moment, and we'll soon have a possible 3 cap if they're able to get it back over here at the point. Still have Muffins in the area. Muffins might go for the gank onto Fanta here, and indeed that is going to be the case, so we'll stop the cap from happening. There's still this 1 versus 1 also happening slightly off the node here too, as we have Nas and CMC are going to proceed back over here into the chokehold and back up towards the midpoint, where we currently have as well Magic Toker fighting off with a Candace here, but now with those reinforcements coming in from this courtyard, we're going to see these guys fighting here in just a second too. So moving back over here towards the mine point, we've got Ostrijegs and Wiki fighting for control of this one. Overall, again here, it's really up in the air. I personally think OEGS has the advantage here. He's got CC advantage, definitely, and overall, I think he's got healing advantage. The fact that, again, Wakey doesn't have many cleanses. Also, keep in mind here, too, that this isn't Wakey's spot that he should be in. Wakey's much more of a team fighter. Wakey's much more of a supporter. He's not necessarily the 1v1. That's not to say he's bad at 1 versus 1s. That's just to say that he's really not used to being in this role. This is where Fanta should be, not Wakey. So, but again, though, Wakey does actually make significant progress in the 1v1s. We will see the instantaneous Cratius coming out there from OEGS the second he gets into trouble. Not only this, too, but Zeus is going to bring some trouble to the point in the form of Magic Toker, as Magic Toker had just taken Zeus out a few moments ago here. So this is going to put extra pressure on OEGS, as OEGS getting locked in a box there for a few seconds, having a little bit of trouble getting outside of that. Overall here, I think he's going to try to jump up on the top and then just kind of get out of this point, or at the very least try his best to kite for as long as he can before it gets capped, and either wait for support or proceed towards another node right now. But as we check out back in mid, Backpack was recently fell into the downstate. ACBC going to try to take him out, but not going to happen there once again, as we do see Magic Toker coming out of nowhere there to throw Muffins into the downstate now. Good res power coming off onto Backpack here, and Muffins will get full kill, getting Backpack back up, and again turning around what appeared to be a completely lost fight once again goes into the Abjurd's favor here now, as they continue to control this midpoint. As they continue to control this midpoint here and overall control the rest of this map. 2-2-2-2-47 at the moment here, with the Abjured controlling basically the entire map. We did see an attempt to steal away the windmill, or not the windmill, the henge, just a few moments ago here as they've taken this one away, but Fanta as well will be coming in now. We'll just kind of be engaging the fight, as again you've got 3, 4, 5, all 5 from DOD going to commit to their home node here and attempt to defend it. I think they're going to go for a last chance snowball here. If this doesn't end up happening, then this is probably GG at this point, when you consider the fact that, again, they're locked in, but if they can win this fight and if they can get a snowball going against the Abjured, there may be a very, 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 very small chance of a comeback here to happen in this game. But anyway, Magic Toker moving away from this. He's just going to play safe, watching these two caps, and then of course back on the beach too, Muffins is looking for its opportunity to engage, trying to pick out a target there, chooses backpack, but unfortunately that's the wrong one as he's got to gear shit up when he goes for that engagement there. Nas, however, is the right target as he goes for the second engagement, but on Muffins' fallback here, he does get it with an emote and a whole load of condies, so that puts Muffins in a kind of an awkward spot, but still, him and the rest of his team have managed to gimp out Nas, so they'll take him down. Wakey was also felling down back over here too, so they're going to get a double kill, and then they can use this to now get back onto the midpoint and maybe, just maybe, get back into the game. And they still got a lot of work to do. Don't get me wrong, DoD is still a very long way away from coming back into this game, but if they can get a snowball here now against both Backpack and Fanta, they've got a very small chance. Back in mid, of course, Toker, Fanta, and Backpack are looking to defend that node, and we also have back over here too, Muffins is going to be looking to get himself onto the mine node there. Wakey will be moving over to that node, of course, there too, to protest that, and obviously that's going to move Muffins right off that point and back over towards the mid. As we head into the mid, we did just see Backpack getting stomped out there, leaving just Fantram to defend this one as he's trying to get off that node there, moving over to his point of view. Also going to move, I believe, to counter out a Candace possibly, who was trying to fall back over there to defend the Henge node, but it looks like that's actually not going to be the case. Is really, that would be a bit pointless considering no one from the red team is actually moving over to take that node at the current time. Nas, however, will seek to do that as we move over to his point of view. He's going to be going up against the Candace for that, but the second he sees a Candace, decides against it, and will now be heading towards the mid courtyard as we are now finally seeing DoD hold a 2-cap against their opponents here now. Like I said, a long way to go, but if they can start this little tiny snowball here, they might just be able to pull it off and get themselves back into the game. Of course, there with Phantom going down, we do see those two players from the Abjured going in to get the res off. Fanta also going to proceed through the gap over here to try and get back over towards the Henge there, and hopefully once again get another decap going and kind of splitting these fights up. That's what the Abjured wants in a matchup like. So Abjured doesn't want to fight in large-scale team fights. They don't want to be fighting for singular nodes. They want to spread the fighting out to all three nodes if at all possible and force the guys from DoD to split up so that they can have the advantage. That they, again, are running builds which are very, very strong in 1v1s, but again, don't really do a good job of kind of supporting each other in team fights with the exception of the DD Elementalists here. So if they can split up the fights and get everything down to 1 versus 1s, 1 versus 2s, 2 versus 2s, and things like that, and that's where the Abjured's going to have their very big advantages. Once again here, they're going to have a much easier time kind of surviving when they're in those smaller numbers compared to when they're in the big numbers, and especially when they have to deal with the full burst potential that DoD can bring to the party there. So Zeus gets stomped out over here at the midpoint with Backpack executing it, and of course him and Magic Toker are now going to move over towards the mine as we just saw a blue team player, blue team thief specifically Muffins coming in to decapture that. CMC will be coming in to act as a support here now, but again, it's going to be Backpack and Toker on the way in, and this is going to be a bit of a hard fight here now for CMC, as that's a lot of CC, and overall, doesn't have a lot of pushback to throw over onto Magic Toker specifically there, so it's going to be a bit rough for these guys. Anyway, though, looking at the fight now, Backpack gets opened up upon there by Muffins, but he's going to pop off the slick shoes very early on in this engagement, forcing Muffins away for the time being. Will probably jump back in just a second. CMC, however, has also taken a whole load of DPS from Magic Toker here, as he's just unleashing his hell upon him. CMC might be going down here pretty shortly, and in fact that is going to be the case now as CMC falls. Backpack and Toker get the advantage, but at the same time Muffins almost took out Backpack, but at the same time, considering Muffins himself is very low, he's going to be leaving this engagement and moving away towards another fight. ACBC, otherwise known as a Candace, will get eliminated back over here at the Henge, as we'll be seeing the red team take full control of this. We do see Zeus trying to run away from this one, as we're going to see Fanta chasing him. But as we take a look at that, it's looking like Zeus may have just enough survivability to get out of this. It's going to be close, but I think, again, there we are. We're going to see the lightning coming out there. That'll take Zeus down, and once again, yet another kill will be scored for the guys on the Abjured here, as they're looking good. Mid will probably be recapped in just a second by the Abjured too, as they have that point open, although they are going to be pursued pretty closely by a Candace now, who's going to follow up on Fanta here. I don't think the full cap will happen, but still they're going to be able to keep a competitive advantage on it. And then back over here too, at the mine point, the Abjured will also take that. So I think we're going to end it a bit early here, guys, as Ostrudix has called the GG in the map. So that's going to be game number 1 and map number 1 going into the control of the Abjured, putting them up 1-0 and possibly only one more game away from taking control of this week's cup and continuing on their streak, still looking like the strongest team, and most definitely at least one of the 2 teams to be heading into the Boston finals there. Abjured's got to be feeling awesome right now, man. Just to kind of talk a little bit off topic right now, I mean, who's to challenge them come next Saturday? Let's be honest now, because if assuming the second game also goes into their favor, unless one of these teams comes in with this completely new comp that revolutionizes the meta, and they've been saving this and experimenting with this, which, let's be honest here, that's never happened before. So if it did happen, it would be absolutely amazing and probably one of the most hyped things in Guild Wars history. But considering it's never happened before, the Abjured has to be feeling just so safe right now, heading into qualifiers. I mean, there's a bit of danger in that. Don't get me wrong. I mean, if they feel too safe, then that could be a problem. But that's going to be an awesome feeling for everyone on the Abjured right now, just knowing that there's like no issue for them heading into the qualifiers next Saturday that could take them out unless something really unfortunate happens for them. So anyway, just wanted to kind of talk about that there a little bit. But, of course, heading into this second map here, we're going to take a look really quickly here to see what is the option now for DoD, as, again, their strategy really didn't work too well there. Unfortunately, again, the fighting from the Abjured was just way too good of them. DoD, I think, was doing a good job at Carno. Oh, apologies, put the point on the wrong team there. That's not what I wanted to do. I do have to say DoD was doing an okay job with kind of making up for rotations, but when it came to pretty much just all those fights there, they really fell short. So now heading on to this next map, where in my opinion at least, the fighting is more important than the rotations themselves. The advantage that DoD might have had, the rotations, is not going to even be here. It's not going to even exist now because once again, they don't really have that advantage this map. If we see the Abjured win that opening fight and get that early lockdown, and this has happened before, then I don't know, man. I'm just not sure how Dodge or Die is going to be able to pull this off. But anyway, folks, once again, we've given the teams the signal to ready up. So as soon as these guys are good to play, just waiting on OEGS and a Candace at this point. So we're very quickly going to play the map preview video, and in just a second, we will be getting started with what could possibly be our final matchup of the day here between the Abjured and Dodge or Die, with the Abjured currently leading the set 1-0, and Dodge or Die is behind by 1 game.
A throwback to Guild vs. Guild from the original Guild Wars. The legacy of the Foefire has teams vying for control of 3 score-generating capture points. Locked away within each team's keep resides the Guild Lord. Killing the enemy team's Guild Lord will grant your team 150 points, potentially swaying the outcome of the match. First team to 500 points wins.
Alright folks, we're back in the map now. Still waiting on OEGS and a Candace to ready up. We're going to remind them very quickly ready up there, and then as soon as these guys are good to go, game number 2, the last possible game today, we'll be getting started here. So like I said here, for Dodge or Die, they've just got to pull the fights together. That's really the only thing that we can see that needs to be changing here at the moment. They've just been really falling shy on that. The support for Muffins and Zeus really just hasn't been there. Zeus and Muffins have been getting gimped out far too easily in a lot of these team fights here. Despite the individual players' best attempts to keep themselves alive, they just really have not been able to. And a lot of the kind of CC that comes out, mainly from Backpack and some of the other players too, has proven to be too much for them to handle. We've seen multiple Condi lockdowns going on to these players, and that's really hurting them. So on game number 2, it's really up to CMC here. CMC cannot be a solo side point player. CMC absolutely, he doesn't even have a choice. He has to be there. He has to be the support player. He needs to be able to keep these 2 burst players alive. That Warrior's not going to do it, because the Warrior's going to Condi cleanse and that's it. He's not going to be the one keeping them alive and keeping them in the mix here. However, as we see the opener at mid, huge burst on a Wakey to start things off here. Nicely done. They're going to kill Wakey very quickly. More inks are on the way though, once again, as we do see not only that, but the crate comes in from Backpack too. They'll try to get Wakey back up. He still needs to Vapor Form away, but I don't think they know where he is at the current time, and that's going to be a very nice recovery from the Abjured, but still also a very good opener from DoD. Now we need to see where the fight goes as things start to get chaotic. Also, very quickly to check out what's happening at the waterfall. Fanta versus OEGS, probably going to go on for a very long time. I would normally say OEGS has the advantage there, but Fanta is trained very highly in these 1 versus 1, so I think that, again, Fanta just has the advantage there by being the better skilled player. We will have to wait and see, though, as that fight continues on, and as we check on in it later. Zeus, of course, taking a look at him here in this mid-fight, trying to eliminate Toker, but goes way too hard, and now he falls into the downstate too. CMC trying to get him back up. Wakey and Backpack putting a lot of pressure on, though, and is going to attempt to stop that from happening. A Candace as well, as we take a look at him. He's got a banner ready to go, might just have to use it too, but at the same time, Toker's also down in the, oh, they used that pinner. Just thankfully he's going to save Zeus, and they didn't have poison, so right now blue team does have the up and up, but now Zeus is falling down for a second time, and a Candace has to go for a manual res now. Whole load of cleave in the area. Muffins is also here too to hopefully deter those guys from going from core leave, but again, at the end of the day, it's not going to matter, as we'll still see Zeus get full killed, and overall it's looking like, again, even though we did see blue team having the advantage there for a little bit, it's still going to be the red team holding the advantage for now, but it's not over just yet as Backpack now falls into the downstate here. Plague Stop from Nos in order to try and save, or Plague Res from Nos in order to try and save Backpack. Will fail out. That's going to be a 3-minute cooldown gone to the waste now on Backpack's end. And keeping that in mind, blue team actually opening up with the cap here too, I should mention. This is still a pretty close fight as now falls. Wakey goes for the stomp, but that will not happen. Nos also falling into the downstate here now too, with a res attempt coming off onto a Candace. They'll get a Candace back up. Nos as well, no res is going off onto him. Magitoker dangerously low, he's fall down to Condis, and now there's 3 players from the Abjured that have been wiped off the face of the earth here now, and it's looking like Dodger Die is going to take the opening advantage versus DOD. Or apologies, yeah, Dodger Die is going to take the opening advantage versus the Abjured here now, and looking pretty good to hold on to it here now too. Red team moving away from their initial strategy is going to attempt to push the waterfall here instead, as OX is getting pushed off the point here now. A lot of pressure on him, and indeed it is going to be a rough time for him now as red team shifts their strategy very, very quickly over towards this waterfall point. They did not get a decap, and I should mention here now too that red team, like I said, is full YOLOing over here onto the waterfall at the moment. No one to defend their quarry point, so that got stolen for free as well. So at the current time, Dodger Die has a 3 cap, and they're holding it too. Not looking like any of these points are going to get decapped. In a minute, we will see Magitoker go over here towards the quarry to steal that away, but again, because he's had to do that, they're now going to be missing quite a few key components of their comp here back at the waterfall point, which in this case is going to be their DPS. They need to take out Zeus or some of the other players here. They don't have Toker for that, so that's going to be missing come in this big fight here now. Taking a look at the moment, Nos has fallen into the downstate. A lot of cleave going on to his corpse here now. They're trying their best to get him back up and into the fray, but it's just not happening here. Nos might be going down here. Wakey's in play as well, and with Nos getting stomped out, Wakey's going to be moving away from that as well backpack as they try to shift this fight back over towards the midpoint. Trying, I think, to buy time here too, as we are going to see Fanta move back over onto the waterfall point to take out CMC, but again, it's really just going to be Fanta at this current time, as again, everyone else has either been wiped out or has been killed or is at another point and won't be able to assist with that waterfall fight that's going on over here. Back in mid, you've got Zeus, Candace, and Muffins holding strong there as red team has been pushed completely back over here. You can see too, they're fighting a little bit off the node and are trying to move onto mid, but with 3 players from the blue team or 3 players from Dodger Die just sitting there, they're not going to be able to make any progress whatsoever. And even back over here at the waterfall, that we do have Fanta and Ostradigs fighting. Again, Fanta's making very small amounts of progress here, but it's not going to be anywhere near enough to kill Ostradigs anytime soon. So these two are really going to be fighting ad infinitum, and OEGS won't be benefiting his team at all by being here, except for keeping OEGS out of the mid fight, which is currently happening. Even in that mid fight too, again, the Abjured is incredibly disorganized in this fight itself. They're all over the place here. They are starting to get themselves together now, but again, they've already been put behind in this next team fight here. At the very least, they already are somewhat even in this team fight here, as Nos once again here took quite a large beating, as did Muffins, again, just to kind of keep things on the even end here. Muffins also took a lot of it, but again, Muffins on the re-engage here really is giving Nos a piece of his mind, takes out his entire death shot pool here. Nos doesn't even cancel his death shot. Nos not dead just yet, but we will see him get taken out there right there, as we do see Magitoker coming in too, trying to stop Muffins from doing stuff, but unfortunately that's not going to be too successful, and Muffin's doing a great job overall here of keeping the pressure on the guys from the Abjured. However, his reign may soon end now, as once again there is a huge Condi lock coming onto Muffins. They're not a lot, actually no, they get a nice amount of self-cleanse off there, so he is going to be able to save himself, but CMC, they're not doing too good of a job of keeping, actually, I want to take that back, actually, because I do think CMC did a very good job of moving over to Muffins there and keeping him alive and well. So that was actually a pretty good job there by CMC. Keeping it, he really was ready to get over there and get Muffins up. I mentioned this at the beginning of the game, that we needed to see Muffins, or we needed to see CMC really kick up the support in the fights here, and we are seeing that now. To take a look at Muffins, you can see that he's really trying his hardest to get Zeus back up. It's just that, again, at the end of the day, these players can only take so much damage, and the players on DOD, the burst players specifically, can only be in the fights for too long before, well, they're just going to die, and there's nothing we can do about it, regardless of how much support we give them here. So CMC, I think, really did do a nice change up though from the last game, and moving away again from that kind of solo player into the team fight support is really what DOD needed here in this fight, and we're seeing that nice change up coming in now. Anyway, to check out what's happening here, Muffins did just get another decap back over here at the quarry, stopping red team points from being gained here at all, and as we see here, huge corpse pile coming out too. Ostradigs will be the first person to fall down into that. Red team as well is going to attempt to get that stomp off, but a banner coming out from a Candace there will save Ostradigs' life. Not forever though, as again, you're going to see yet another Condi lock coming onto Ostradigs. He's going to be falling into the downstate for a second time, but as does Nos too. We have a stomp race. Stomp coming out from Wakey right now. Nos gets fully up there too, so Ostradigs and an SR was wasted, I should mention too. Muffins put the SR down just a little bit too late, so unfortunately Muffins is going to be wasting that cooldown, and it's looking like the Abjured might be coming back into this game, at least here at mid for the time being, as we do see Nos get low there. Oh my goodness, Muffins with a clutch interrupt on Nos' heal. He is going to try to get the kill off onto him. Nos only has about 20% of his health pool outside of a death trial, but thankfully, again, the pressure on the midpoint itself is all but subsided, so Magitoker is able to come up on the top here, provide the support needed to keep Nos alive, and overall, it's looking like we're now going to see, finally at least, the Abjured take a 2-cap here. It might take them a few extra minutes to actually get the 2-cap itself, but I think with a Candace getting knocked out right here, and again with the rest of the blue team either busy at the waterfall or still on the respawn timers, they're going to be in a very good position now to get this 2-cap and hold it for these next few minutes. Back at the waterfall. Red team pushing for that third cap. This is where things, I think, went a bit bad last time here now. So thankfully, with the other players from Dodge or Die being eliminated, this is going to be a much safer push come all around on its second attempt here now, as we have a 4 versus 2 on the node itself here. CMC has been killed. Zeus is trying to navigate through this to get back over towards the midpoint, but unfortunately, again, he's really just walking into his own grave, so he's going to have to try and retreat back over towards the blue team base or just get out of here, but that's not going to happen. Zeus is going to be food there as he falls into the downstate, and then back over here at the waterfall too. Phantom is well on his way to getting that full cap. Blue team is essentially all but forced to regroup now, as we see them all kind of just camping in their base. They're trying to decide where they need to go, and they need to move quicker than this though, because camping in the base is not going to be good. And you can see too, Toker's coming in here. This is not World v World, guys. You need to get out of the base and get onto a node there. They're trying to get that regroup off, but again here, now that Muffins, or now the Toker has spotted them, they know where their intentions are, they know what point they're going to go to. So again, the Abjured just going to move to counter this out right now and try again. The Abjured really right now, you can see too that the Abjured is really pushing into them, because at this current time, Abjured's not really worried about keeping the caps. They're more worried about keeping the guys from Dodge or Die just kind of wherever they are at this current time. They want to waste as much time as possible, because with this 3 cap, even if like 1 or 2 of those points get lost, the Abjured will still control the entire map, and if they can use this time to get their free cap and get the lead back into their favor, that's going to be a plus for them regardless of how many points they lose along the way. Of course, we do see a Candace coming in here. He did get that nice decap off onto mid. Nos will stop the one at Quarry, however, and these two will be kind of fighting here for quite a bit, so we'll come back to this one later. Actually, apologies, we're going to see some reinforcements coming in here too. Magic Toker and Zeus from either team are on their way over towards this quarry point here now. Zeus obviously going to try to take on Nos here first, as that's going to be the first and primest target to eliminate, so we'll come back to this one in a few moments. Back in mid, we've got players from both sides here too. Muffins and Backpack kind of having a staring contest there. Of course, Backpack can't actually see Muffins, so he doesn't know if he's cheating or not, in which case it is going to be the case, because Muffins is going to sneak away from the staring contest and instead head over here towards the quarry. Wakey also will come to reinforce this fight too, so this is looking like our next big fight. First player that might be falling into the downstate of this fight will be Nos, as he's getting dangerous with only 7.5k health within his play form. Might have some good death roll juice outside of that, and indeed he does, so he's going to be able to eat a little bit more DPS here as he tries his best to turn this fight back around onto Zeus there, but not really going to be happening. Zeus gets CC, but again, the rest of the guys from the Abjured are far too focused on getting Nos back up instead of actually killing people on Dodge or Die, so Zeus will fall down now, but again, Nos's downstate health is extremely low right now, and no one can really go on to get that kill off onto Nos, or no one can really go on to get the res off onto Nos, so he's going to go full dead. That gets Zeus back up into play. He's nowhere near safe, just as a good, I should mention, as Magic Toker can still easily gimp him out here, but at this current point in time, Dodge or Die is looking very good to take control of the quarry point, and overall, again, re-attain control of the entire map. Side note, 5.5 minutes left. We're looking at 391 to 360 here. Very, very close game, but the Abjured does currently lead, and overall, I think we might see a Lord push here, depending on who wins and who loses these next few team fights here, because I think whoever, it's looking like it might be fairly one-sided. Again, blue team's got control of the red team's home node now. They can go in and they can kill the door, and they have that option to a Lord rush. At the same time, back in mid, that's still fairly open and could go to either way, but based on numbers advantage, that might also go into DoD's favor. But then back over here at the waterfall, it's kind of the opposite, as we see red team taking control of the waterfall, which also, again, this is the blue team's home node, so that's another catalyst for a possible Lord push from the side of the Abjured here. Now, you have to remember, similar to that other double Lord push we had earlier, whoever has the most burst is more than likely going to win the Lord push here. So keeping that in mind, it's much more optimal for the DoD to rush that Lord. You won't really see the Abjured rushing Lord unless they absolutely have to, because considering especially the fact that, again, Dodge or Die has a much higher damage coefficient than they do, they will win a Lord rush. They will win a Lord race, I rather should say here. So they want to avoid that by all costs and just try to win this through pure conquest. But considering the way things are going right now, they may not be left with much of a choice, as once again, even though the Abjured is currently leading, they're losing all their other fights here. They're going to lose mid more than likely. Back over here to the quarry, they have managed to decap that. It's Candace versus Wakey, so that's probably going to go on for a fairly long time. But again, mid's the key here. And as we see the blue team win, possibly at the midpoint, that might be enough. I don't know, actually. Might have to rethink this one here, as they don't have it just yet. Ostradex has gone down here. Nos didn't actually go, or Wakey rather, didn't actually go fully dead, I don't believe. So they're still in kind of, actually no, I should say Wakey did actually go. Phantom rather was the one that actually got gimped out over here at mid. Wakey's still here fighting, of course. But actually the members of the red side are looking like they might be victorious here in mid, which, again, that's going to be the catalyst now for DoD needing to Lord rush this one here. DoD, what's going on, man? They had this very close game so far, though, but somehow the Abjureds managed to come back from this one, and they're looking like they might still come out on top. Waterfall still up in the air, but a 2 versus 1 against Phantom will obviously be in favor of the blue side. Mid is kind of come to a close here as red team gets the cap there, but a Candace will move off the quarry point to try and stop that. At the same time, though, with the full cap, it's really not going to matter. Also handing over the quarry point to the red side. I think that's GG right there, to be completely honest, unless blue team can rush this Lord and kill it within the next about 100 seconds, possibly less than that. I would say it's more like a minute than I don't think that we're going to see DOD come back from this one. I think they kind of threw away their lead here, unfortunately, and that's going to cost them now this week's Cup. We're going to have to wait and see, but it's not looking very good for them at all here at this point. They didn't even kill the gate, too, so the gate's still sitting at a pretty high health pool due to someone going in there and attesting Candace's attempt to kill that there. So blue team's here. They're at Quarry. They're trying to take it, but again, over 475 now. Waterfall as well, not going in the blue team's favor. Zeus will be getting stomped out pretty shortly. Your Muffins is here too, but oh, Muffins with the backstep out of nowhere. Hold on, I'm going to try to go for a quickness stop on a Toker. Toker doesn't even move. Oh, he wins that one, but even though we did see Muffins with that clutch play on the Toker, again, I think the reason Toker didn't move is because he kind of realized it's over. They're going to let him kill me. So with that in mind, folks, the Abjured is going to be taking control of game number 2 here. And with game number 2 under their control, they will take this week's ESL Go4GuildWars2 Weekly Cup as well. So congratulations once again to the Abjured, who will be taking the home this week's top prize of top qualifying points. I think it's 100 qualifying points for the monthly, as well as $400 US, or a total of $80 per player. And the second place team, the Dagening, or not the Dagening, apologies, DOD, otherwise now known, I believe, as the Hail Mary, I think is their new team name. I could be wrong on that one, but I think that's what they're going by now, is also going to be taking home $100 and 2,000 gems per player, while our third place team, which hasn't been decided yet, is going to also take home 800 gems per player, which will end, of course, once again, this week's Cup. Don't forget, guys, a couple other things. There hasn't actually been, I don't think there's actually been a post about it yet on the ESL website, but we do have, coming up in just a few days here, guys, on this Wednesday is going to be the January monthly finals. So be sure to tune in for that one. It's going to be right here on this Twitch channel. The European one starts, taking a guess on times here. I don't remember when the EU one starts, but I know that okay, no, I do remember now. Sorry. The European one will start at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, or 10 a.m. Pacific Time on this Wednesday, and the North American one will start at 4 p.m. Pacific Time, and that will be 7 p.m. Eastern Time for those of you guys watching the North American one. I will be in LA again, hosting it with Frodan over at the North American ESL Studios in Los Angeles, and I think Jebro and Kalaris are going to be hosting the European one over in Cologne, Germany for the European one, and ESL's European Studios, guys. So be sure to tune in for that one. That's this Wednesday. Once again, the European one starts at, I think that's, math is hard, I think that's 19 CET this Wednesday, or once again, for those of you in America, it's going to be 1 p.m. Eastern Time or 10 a.m. Pacific, and the North American one will start at 7 p.m. Eastern Time and 4 p.m. Pacific Time. That's this Wednesday, folks, so be sure to tune in for that, the January ESL Monthly Finals. Thanks once again, folks, for tuning into this week's Cup, and be sure to tune in next week as well. This Cup happens every Sunday and is open to all players of all sorts, so if you guys want to sign up for this Cup, just go head over to play.eslgaming.com/guildwars2, and you can find more information, including the times and dates of each of these Cups. Thanks once more, guys, for tuning in. If you want to follow me, my Twitter is right there. And yeah, like I said, if you can't join us for any other of the events happening throughout the week, and don't forget to, almost forgot, yeah, WTS Qualifiers is next Saturday, and as we saw on Friday with Grouch's announcements, that will have a preview. That's all we've heard, though. We don't know what kind of preview, but it will have a preview of the new game mode being added in the Heart of Thorns expansion. Stronghold will be previewed during the WTS Qualifiers, so be sure to tune in for that one, guys. And that's going to be next Saturday. I think there'll be more information throughout the week also on the Guild Wars 2 website. But like I said, guys, I think I've covered everything I need to plug, so I think we can end it now, guys. Thank you all once more for tuning in this week, and like I said, if we cannot see you for at any of the other events throughout the week, we hope to see you next week at the North American ESL Go4GuildWars2 Cup number 15 right here on Twitch.